Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we are going to be looking at some customs by JMacPaints from over on Instagram. I've actually been following his work for a little while now. I've seen actually a handful of these guys as posts. So I'm pretty excited because there's a lot of really cool stuff here. And this is actually going to be part 1 of 2 because I had too many customs to properly fit in one video, and I want to be able to give each one of these figures the attention it deserves. So there will be a part 2. Keep your eyes out for that. If you want to find out more about JMac's work, I will put the link to his Instagram in the description and in the pinned comment. So go there. Any questions or anything you have about the customs, all that sort of stuff can be directed to him through Instagram. So if you start asking, where do I get these? I will tell you just to look at the pinned comment because all the information will be there. So I wanted to start off with this Elite Ultra. So he is armed with one of LS3D's Stalker rifles. I believe this is LS3D's, which is pretty cool. The Stalker rifle is not one that we've seen actually from Mega yet. So that's really kind of an extra bonus here, and it's painted up really well. We have kind of the banished red, which looks perfect, and then we have some silver and then some dark gray in there as well. The little screen, let's see, can we get it to focus? Yeah, the little screen is painted up with some red detailing. Detail is around both sides, looking very nice. So the first thing that stuck out to me about the figure itself is I believe this armor on the arm here is from a Promethean, from one of the Promethean soldiers, I think. I might be wrong, but it sure looks like the Promethean soldier like forearm piece, but it's been used upside down and modified a bit to be armor for the Elite, which I think is super clever and just a really great use of parts. He is using the Fallen Captain hands. Those are a bit bigger. Those are more bulky, I guess, in a way, than the normal Elite hands. The fingers are actually spread apart. And then he's got the Ultra helmet. I think this is one of LS3D's, but I'm not totally sure. See, can we get it to focus on there? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Look at all the detailing on there. The eyes, oh, the eyes are not showing up on camera. There we go. You can see a little bit of that. There's, the eyes are blue, but interestingly, the red, there's red for the lights on the chest. So I think that's kind of cool. I think Mega has typically just matched them whenever they do the prints like that. Got some around the back as well. And then looks like the leg armor is actually either LS3D parts or just modified, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this guy is a absolute just banger to start off with. I really like this, and it does kind of make me appreciate the official Mega ones less purely because of how small their helmets are. Like, this shows the bulk of the Ultras, and Megas doesn't quite do that. I do like Mega's Ultras, but this is just kind of a step above. And speaking of a step above, this next Ultra is, I would say, a step above the first one because this dude goes literally all out. So first of all, he is armed with a concussion rifle, which is fantastic. Concussion rifle? That's what this is called, right? For some reason, my brain just blanked on that. Concussion rifle. Yeah. Mega has done so few of these, and I absolutely love them. They have such a cool design, and they have such a cool like noise and whatnot in game. So it's awesome to see one of these, especially all painted up like this. Plenty of detailing. Also, the fact that this dude is just kind of casually one-handing it is fantastic, because in his other hand, he's got an energy sword, which has a super nice gradient on it. Handle is painted as well. He is once again using those Fallen Captain hands, which is pretty cool. He's got different forearms, and then he's got the bigger shoulder armors here. I think those are also LS3D pieces. The back is also custom. Actually, the front is a custom as well, the front chest plate. The knees, and then he's got the super articulated Elite like feet. Let's see, can we look at those up closer? Yeah, so it's got like an ankle joint, so you get some extra rotation and posing like that, which is really helpful because elites are kind of tough to pose sometimes just because of how odd their legs are. So that's really cool. And then look at that head. Look at the red on there. Look at the matching red on the chest. This is like classic, iconic Ultra get up. Like, this is really fantastic. Look at the shoulders too, matching stuff. I don't understand how you would freehand this sort of thing. I literally could not. I've tried doing stuff like that and it just never works. I don't understand how it's done. There's a closer look at that energy sword. There is that concussion rifle. I really hope it's actually a concussion rifle. And then there's the leg armors. You can see the little glowy lights on them. This is just pretty much perfectly done. I don't really see anything that I would change here at all. And just so that you kind of get an idea of how big this guy is, here is the Mega EOD Spartan. So like, if this guy were to stand up straight, right? He's massive. Look at how massive he is. This is normal Mega figure size. This is the custom. Huge, absolutely huge. And it's actually kind of correct. The Spartan's a little small. I feel like this would be more Marine size. But yeah, that is really, really cool. Really, really like this one. So moving past the two Ultras, we have an Elite Honor Guard. Now, I've looked at a fair amount of Elite Honor Guards. Flustered sent me a whole batch a while back. I'll put the card or something up in the corner for that. But this guy is a little different. He's a lot bigger, and he's more lanky, and he looks more fast. He doesn't have the Honor Guard pike. Instead, he is dual-wielding plasma pistols, which kind of makes him feel more dangerous because he looks like he just roll around the corner and just double tap you. So that's pretty cool. And the pistols themselves, oops, let's go in. Pistols themselves look kind of banished almost, which is pretty cool, but it matches the red of the Honor Guard perfectly. And those are mirrored. Speaking of the red is super, super nice. This is a great shade of red. There's plenty of detail, and then the orange kind of helps shake things up a little bit because the dark red and the black, you know, it's very toned down, and then we have some dark silver, but the orange really shakes it up. Super, super nice mix. It's kind of a gradient. There's a bunch of detailing in there. I honestly, again, I don't know how, let's see, can we focus on it closer? Yeah. I don't know how you paint such fine details like that without overspill. And then there's some on the forearm too, which the forearm is actually the Ultra shoulders from Mega, but he has used them as forearm armor, which is super clever. We got some more orange on the back. I really like the way this silver looks against the red. Gives me, again, it's kind of banished feel to it. And then the head is really interesting to me because I believe this is one of LS3D's, except this Honor Guard has like mechanical jaw on both sides. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know if this is like based on anything in universe, but it's really cool looking. I did think that the Sangheili were kind of against modding themselves in that way, so maybe this guy is a bit of a rebel in that way. He just has the normal Elite legs, but there's silver painted on there for part of the undersuit, and then let's see if we can get the light to hit it. There is the leg armor, and then we have a little bit of blue detailing for lights on there. That is super cool. I should have grabbed one of my Honor Guards for a comparison. You know what? Yeah, I got to go grab one of my Honor Guards. We can't let this opportunity for a comparison pass. There we go. You can see the differences here. The thing that sticks out to me most, just right off the bat, is the helmet and just how much more detail the helmet has, both paint-wise and detail-wise, just because LS3D does awesome work, and then it's been painted up in a way that just kind of does all of the detail on it justice. And the height, obviously, the kind of more lanky build it just is such a big difference. You know, this is a problem with doing customs reviews, because afterward the mega figures always look a little bit weird and toyish to me, and I have to like readjust to looking at normal normal figures and not works of art as figures. It's just, yeah, the gap in quality is just huge. Now, here's something that Mega has never made before, and I really hope that we do see an official one from them sometime, but this is one of the Silent Shadow. So this is LS3D's Silent Shadow helmet and shoulders, I think, too. This is so freaking cool. The design of the Silent Shadow is just amazing. They almost give me mech vibes. Like, the head gives me, I don't know, Pacific Rim something, mech-ish vibes, but it's really, really well done. First of all, the thing that stuck out to me, let's get in closer. Come on, there we go. The thing that really stuck out to me right off the bat was this visor. At first glance, it's a straight red, but then I realized it's actually a gradient. There's like dark red paint, and then it goes to lighter, and then it goes to darker again. That is just so satisfying, especially since the edges are razor sharp, super crisp. That's just so cool. There's literally not a single speck of weathering on this guy, and there's not even really metallic either, which works super well. Like, the consistency and the texture of that paint works perfectly. The matte look is so good. And then we have some red detailing on the sides, kind of minimal, just enough to add a pop of color. Got some more red on the shoulders and on the forearms, and again, looks like Promethean arms. I could be wrong, but it sure looks like it to me. The back is super cool. Look at that. There's red in all of the lines, and that's an official Elite back piece, which, here, I'll show you, actually. Yeah. Well, nope, that's not the same back piece. Never mind, I thought it was. This is a, like, miner's back piece. But yeah, that comes molded on the official piece, so it's really cool to see it used like this. Looks like the waist unit is custom as well, because the Elite waist units don't wrap like that. So he has added, actually, you know what? Now I'm looking at it more, it doesn't look like he's added any actual pieces. He just painted the sides to look like the armor. That works out really well, actually. You had me fooled. Chest plate looks really good. That's also official Mega. The legs, all official Mega, but painted up to perfection. Look at the red detailing in there. Can we get it in closer? That's really cool. And then he comes armed with an energy sword, which looks really cool. It's very matte, again, just like the rest of him. But there's like this subtle electricity texture almost in the middle, which is really neat and not really something I've seen on energy swords before. Most of the energy swords I've seen either have the electricity print over the whole, or paint. I say print by default because that's what Mega does. I've seen it over the entire thing by default, or just like the whole sword in kind of a metallic color, but I've never seen just in the middle and real subtle like this. So I think that's a great way to do it, honestly. If you can't get rid of that, filling the space plastic, might as well use it. I just can't get over that helmet, though. That looks so cool. Such a cool design, and it has been done to utter perfection here. I just love it. Super, super clean, razor sharp all around. Our last figure is this absolutely monstrous Brute Chieftain. Or actually, I think it's a Brute Chieftain Ultra. Holy crap. First of all, I just want to consider size here. He is properly sized. Look at that. He towers over the Spartan. Just absolutely looks so good. And then also, he is bulky enough to make the size not feel like he's skinny. The sides of the armor have been filled in using, it almost looks like Call of Duty parts, but I'm not totally sure. But yeah, it fills it in really, really nicely. You can see belts too, which I believe that's Call of Duty, which is a nice use. Keeps the waist wide enough. Just, I've seen some, and I've even looked at some, and even Mega's official brutes, sometimes the waist looks way too thin, but here it works out really well. I don't feel like there's any bulk missing in the torso. And then the legs are huge and massive, and they have an ankle joint, which this one seems a little bit sticky. Maybe I use the other one. Yeah, you can see there's like an ankle joint. I don't know who makes these, because I don't think it's LS3D. He does the Spartan legs, but I don't think he's done brute legs yet. But that's really cool. But the head, come on, look at that. That is so realistic, like scary realistic, especially the eyes, which the eyes, that's all paint work. The teeth too, there's even a little red tongue in there. This is a really interesting piece as well because it's actually double jointed. We have the upper joint and then the lower joint, which is really neat. The whole sculpt is really nice. And then the gold, look at all the gold. That's so nice as well. Gold on the chest, the shoulders. I like the shoulders here because the shoulders are two different types of brute shoulder pads actually, because we have the bigger shoulder pads and then we also have the smaller original banished shoulder pads as the forearms, which works out really well, matches the bulk of the rest of the figure. The leg armor is pretty funny to me because it's actually like Call of Duty leg straps, but then it's got brute armor like cut and put on the side, which is really cool. And then of course the legs are custom pieces, so they're really nice and bulky. I do really like the texturing on it, and I really like how there's black been painted into the lines. That's fantastic. There's a grab hammer as one of this guy's weapons. Love the dry brushing. It's subtle enough, but it's just when the light hits it like that, it looks just perfect. Mirrored on both sides quite nicely. And then the second weapon, which this dude is casually one-handing, a Ravager. Super cool. Mega has not given us a printed Ravager yet. This is what I would hope it would look like. Really, really nice. I like how the grip parts are not painted. That allows the figure to hold it without, worrying about it. We've got red kind of in the barrel, and then the fuel cells on the sides are red. I know it's like not a great weapon in the Halo Infinite multiplayer, but it looks so cool. It's got to be probably one of my favorite Mega weapons. It's just easy to pose, and it looks fantastic. That is mind-blowing work right there. Absolutely just utter masterpiece. And unfortunately, Mega's brutes don't come even close to matching this level of just art. Like, dang. That's like hunter size, and the detail, it's basically not Mega at this point, to be honest. It's more like a collector's action figure. So this is something I haven't looked at before. Custom stands. JMac does a lot of custom stands for his figures. A lot of times he'll even do like a figure and have it paired with a stand right off the bat. So there was actually 6 stands in the whole bundle of customs that he sent me. So we're going to take a look at 3 now and 3 in part 2. And I just wanted to start with this lava one. Look at this. So this gives me Mustafar vibes like right away. Very, very strong Mustafar vibes. The rock looks like, I'm almost afraid to touch it because I feel like I'm going to get charcoal on myself. That's how well done the texturing is. I don't know what he used for this. Maybe foam, maybe clay. But there is a stud sculpted into right here so that if you want to pose a figure, you can just kind of stick him on there and he'd stay. That actually is terrifying. Having him like in this burning orange landscape. The lava is done really well too. You can kind of see the heat. The edges are darker and then the middle gets light. Very, very heavy Mustafar vibes for this one. Then we have this desert looking one, which honestly, is this a real rock? It might be a real rock. It doesn't feel heavy enough to be, but it very well could be. I love the little bushes added on here too. I think that might be like model train stuff, but I can't be sure. The texturing is perfect. It really looks like real mud or dirt. Let's toss one of the figures on there because we have the stud like that. Look at that. That's so cool. You basically have a tiny little diorama ready to go. Really, really nice. This, I don't know, I can just like easily picture the landscape that would be around this. This one is probably the most interesting to me though. We have kind of a broken either wall or maybe kind of makes me think that there was a bridge above here just because of the rebar sticking out. Like maybe there was a bridge way up here and it collapsed and came crumbling down. You can see it's kind of pavement looking. You can see that sticking out there. There's grass, which also looks like model train stuff. Kind of dirt smeared up the sides. Really, really nice. And then the thing that really makes this pop is the air assault helmet in the mud. First of all, the mud looks very realistic, especially the way the light hits it. It looks actually wet. And then it's kind of splattered all over the air assault helmet. It's kind of buried in there a little bit, which kind of fits this perfectly because, you know, just toss one of our elites on there and clearly a Spartan has fallen to the Silent Shadow. Super cool. Instant story. All you have to do is add the figure. It makes me want to make some dioramas like this. I have zero clue how to achieve this look, but it's so cool. And all of these are just done on these little plastic discs. I don't exactly know where these come from, but they work perfectly. Perfectly sized, and you have a little story all set up and waiting to happen with these stands. Well, there you have it. That is 5 customs from JMacPaints. I am thoroughly impressed. The stands in particular really just make this batch of customs stand out to me from some of the others I've looked at, just because the custom stands add a whole new level to the way that you can display these figures. Because, like I said, basically you have a mini story waiting to happen just because of the figure that you pair with the stand. You get a really ominous look if you pair the Silent Shadow with the lava. You get a really kind of dark, sad story for the UNSC if you pair the Ultra with the fallen air assault. It's just, you have so many options that way, and it's really, really cool. And then the use of all of like LS3D's parts, the use of Mega's own parts in interesting ways here really is just super clever, super creative. Highly, highly recommend you go check out JMac's work. Like I said, the link will be in the description, in the pinned comment. Go check it out because this is a small, small fraction of the amount of work he's done. So go check it out. Huge thanks to him for sending these along, and keep your eyes out for part 2. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.